Everything you've been told about time is wrong. Not a little bit off, not slightly misunderstood, but fundamentally, deeply, and beautifully wrong. And the worst part? You feel it. You feel it every single day. You feel it when you're bored in a meeting, watching the clock drag its feet. And you feel it when a perfect weekend vanishes in what seems like an instant. You feel it when you look at an old photograph and think, where did it all go? You have this gut instinct that time is slippery, that it's not the steady, reliable river we're told it is. And you are absolutely right. Your intuition is screaming at you that the story we've been sold, this idea of time as a universal clock, ticking the same for everyone and everything, from a rock to a person to a galaxy, is a comforting fairy tale. A fairy tale that falls apart the moment you ask the simplest questions. So let's ask them. What is time, really? Is it something that flows? Does it even exist on its own? Or is it something else wearing a clever disguise? And if we're so wrong about it, what does that mean for everything we think we know about our lives, our memories, our reality? I want you to forget everything you think you know about time for the next hour. Not because it's useless, but because it's holding you back from seeing something so much stranger and more magnificent. I want you to come with me on a journey to see time for what it is, not through the words of a philosopher, but through the cold, hard, and utterly bizarre logic of physics. This isn't about abstract equations. This is about looking at your own wristwatch and realizing it's not measuring what you think it is. It's about understanding why a clock on a satellite runs at a different speed than a clock in your pocket, and why that's not a technical glitch, but a screaming clue about the nature of reality. It's about why the past feels fixed, the future feels open, and the present feels like a moving point, and whether any of those feelings have any basis in the laws of the universe. The truth is, time is the greatest illusion we experience. Not an illusion in the sense that it isn't real, but an illusion in the sense that it is nothing like our brains tell us it is. Our consciousness is wired for a world of medium-sized objects moving at medium speeds, and time, in that world, is a wonderful, simple story. But the universe doesn't care about our stories. The universe operates on a blueprint so foreign to our daily experience that to understand it, we have to be willing to get uncomfortable. We have to be willing to let go of the most fundamental anchor of our existence, the feeling that now is a universal event happening everywhere at once. It's not. And proving that is where our adventure begins. Think of the last time you saw a flash of lightning. You see the brilliant crack in the sky, and then, a few seconds later, you hear the rumble of thunder. You know the lightning happened first. The sound arrived later. That delay is a clue. It tells you that light and sound travel at different speeds. But here's the immediate, obvious question we almost never ask. When did the lightning actually happen? Your eyes say it happened when you saw it. Your ears say it happened earlier because the sound took time to reach you. Which is right. Your brain effortlessly combines these signals and tells you the event was back there, out in the distance, a few seconds ago. It constructs a single now for that event. But that now is a reconstruction, a calculation. It is not a direct experience. Now take that simple idea and stretch it. What if the delays weren't just seconds, but years? What if you looked up at the stars tonight? The light from that star left its surface hundreds or thousands of years ago. You are not seeing the star as it is now. You are seeing it as it was. You are looking directly into the past. So when you point at it and say, there it is, are you pointing at something that exists in your now? In any meaningful sense, that star, as you see it, does not exist in your present moment. Its now and your now are not the same. This isn't just poetic. It's a direct observable fact that shatters the idea of a single universal present. Your now is private. It's your brain's best guess about events around you based on signals of different speeds hitting your senses. Your now is a patchwork of carefully time-stamped information assembled to tell a coherent story. But here's where it gets really strange. That's just the beginning. That's what happens when things are far away. The real shocker, the truth that bends the mind, is that this personal, relative nature of now doesn't just happen across vast distances of space. It happens right here in this room, between you and your chair, between your head and your feet. If we had clocks precise enough, we would see that time itself flows at a different rate for your head than it does for your feet. Not by much, but by a real, measurable amount. Time, the thing we use to synchronize our lives, is not synchronized by the universe. The universe does not have a master clock. This is the first great uncomfortable truth we have to swallow. There is no such thing as the present moment that encompasses the entire universe. The now you are experiencing is yours and yours alone. It is a local phenomenon, a bubble of consciousness built from delayed signals, and it is different from the now of someone on the other side of the room or the other side of the planet. They are living in your past, and you are living in theirs. And before your brain can fully revolt against that idea, before you can say, that's impossible, we can talk to each other in real time. Hold on to that thought. We'll come back to it, because that very objection is the key to the next layer of the mystery. If you're the kind of person who hears that and doesn't just feel confused, but feels a deep, burning curiosity, if your reaction is, wait, that can't be right, but if it is, I need to understand how, then you are exactly who I'm talking to. This channel, Think Beyond Physics, is for people who aren't satisfied with the surface-level answers. People who want to follow a weird idea all the way down the rabbit hole, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. If that's you, then hit subscribe, because what I've just told you is just the tip of a very, very deep iceberg. We've just destabilized the idea of a universal now, but we haven't even started on the flow. We haven't touched the past and the future. We haven't asked why we remember yesterday but not tomorrow. And to get there, we have to do what seems ridiculous. We have to understand why time is intertwined with the most familiar yet misunderstood concept in all of physics, the speed of light. And to do that, we need to perform a simple thought experiment, one that requires no lab equipment, just your imagination. I want you to picture a clock, not a digital clock, but an old-fashioned light clock. Imagine it's made of two perfect mirrors facing each other with a single particle of light, a photon bouncing perfectly up and down between them. Tick, tock. Every time it hits the bottom mirror, that's a tick. Every time it hits the top, that's a tock. A perfect, simple clock. Now imagine you are holding this clock and it's right in front of your face. You see the photon going straight up and down. Tick, tock, steady, regular, the very heartbeat of time itself. Now, I want you to imagine something else. Imagine you have a friend, and your friend is not standing next to you. Your friend is zooming past you in a hypothetical super-fast spaceship, moving at an incredible constant speed to the right. And from their window, they are looking at your light clock as they zoom by. What do they see? From their perspective, you and your clock are moving to the left at that same incredible speed. So they don't see the photon going straight up and down anymore. They see it going on a diagonal path. Think about it. As the photon leaves the bottom mirror to go to the top, the entire clock has moved sideways. So from your friend's spaceship, the photon's path is a zigzag. It goes up and to the left, then down and to the left. It's traveling a longer distance for each tick and tock. And this is the critical, universe-altering, but the speed of light is not just fast, it is constant. It is the ultimate cosmic speed limit, and it is the same for everyone, no matter how fast they are moving. Your friend sees the light in your clock moving at exactly the same speed you do, the same number. So, if the light in your clock has to travel a longer path from their perspective, and its speed is fixed, what must happen? The only possible conclusion is that from your friend's perspective, the ticks and tocks of your clock take longer. Your time, as measured by that clock, is running slow relative to theirs. Time itself is stretching. This is not an illusion of perception. This is not a trick of faulty mechanics. This is a direct, inescapable consequence of the universe's single, non-negotiable rule. The speed of light is constant for all observers. And if that's true, then time must be flexible. It must be relative. It is the price the universe pays to keep the speed of light constant. And your friend, looking at their own identical light clock inside their spaceship, would see it ticking normally. To them, you are the one moving, and your time is the one running slow. Both of you are right. This is the heart of relativity. Time is not a background stage upon which events play out. Time is a dynamic, personal, malleable quantity that depends entirely on your state of motion, your past, your present, your future. Their relationship to someone else's is not fixed. It is negotiable. It is a matter of perspective. And if that feels like a sucker punch to your understanding of reality, good. It should, because we're just getting started. We've broken time's universality. Now, let's break its direction. But hold on, I can hear the objection forming. It's a good one, a necessary one. You're thinking, okay, fine, for astronauts moving at near light speeds, time gets weird. For scientists with atomic clocks on satellites, they have to make tiny corrections. That's the realm of the extreme. That's not my life. My coffee cools at the same rate whether I'm sitting still or driving to work. My watch doesn't suddenly start lagging because I'm in a car or on a plane. So what if time is theoretically relative? In the world I live in, it might as well be absolute and universal. It works. And you are right. For our daily motions, walking, driving, even flying in a jet, the stretching of time is so fantastically small, it's buried in the noise of the real world. Your watch will never show it. Your body will never feel it. So it's easy to dismiss this as a curious footnote for physicists, not a fundamental truth about your reality. But that dismissal is where we make our biggest mistake, because the relativity of time isn't just about high speeds. It has a far more common, far more intimate accomplice. One that affects you every single second of your life. One that literally shapes the world you stand on. Gravity. You think of gravity as a force that pulls you down. But what if gravity isn't pulling on you at all? What if gravity is, in its very essence, the bending and warping of time itself? This is the second, more profound shock. Not only does motion affect the flow of time, but simply standing still in a gravitational field does too. The closer you are to a source of gravity like the Earth, the slower time runs. Your feet, being closer to the Earth's center, experience time ever so slightly slower than your head. A clock on the floor would tick very, very slightly slower than a clock on a shelf. This has been measured. It's not theory, it's fact. The GPS in your phone is useless unless it accounts for this. The satellites orbiting high above the Earth have clocks that run faster than the clocks on the ground, precisely because they are in a weaker gravitational field. If engineers didn't deliberately slow down the satellite clock's signals before broadcasting them to your phone, your navigation would be off by miles within minutes. You use the warping of time by gravity to find the nearest coffee shop. It is baked into the infrastructure of your modern life. So time is not just relative to motion. It is relative to where you are. Your position in a gravitational field dictates the tempo of your personal time. The universe has no single tempo. It's a symphony of slightly out of sync metronomes. Now let's connect this to the most universal, unquestioned feeling we have about time, that it flows from past to future. The arrow of time. We remember the past, we anticipate the future. Eggs scramble but never unscramble. Coffee mixes with cream but never unmixes. We grow older, not younger. This feels like the most obvious truth in the world. The flow of time has a direction, and that direction is stamped into every moment of our consciousness and every process we see around us. But here's the devastating secret. The fundamental laws of physics do not care about this arrow. If you took a film of two perfect billiard balls colliding and bouncing apart, and you played that film backwards, it would look just as valid, just as obedient to the laws of motion. The equations of Newton, of Einstein, of quantum mechanics, they work perfectly well, forwards and backwards in time. At the level of individual particles, there is no past or future. There is just change. So where does the overwhelming, undeniable arrow come from? Why does the universe appear to have a one-way street? The answer is not in the laws of motion, but in the laws of arrangement. It's about probability. Think of your childhood room. When it's clean, everything has a specific place. That's a state of high order, low probability. When it's messy, things can be in a near infinite number of positions. That's a state of high disorder, high probability. The universe, from a local standpoint, tends from order to disorder. Not because it's forbidden to go the other way, but because it's staggeringly unlikely. It is possible for all the air molecules in this room to spontaneously rush into one corner, leaving you in a vacuum. The laws of physics don't forbid it, but the probability is so astronomically, inconceivably small that it has almost certainly never happened in the history of the observable universe. The arrow of time we experience is not a fundamental flow. It is a statistical tendency. It is the universe's tendency to move from less probable states, a clean room, an unbroken egg, a young body, to more probable states, a messy room, a scrambled egg, an old body. We call this entropy, and our entire experience of cause and effect, of memory and anticipation, is tied to this local increase in entropy. But, and here's the twist that keeps me up at night, this only works because of a very specific starting condition. The universe, at its beginning, in what we call the Big Bang, was in a state of extraordinarily low entropy. It was ordered, it was improbable, and everything that has happened since, from the formation of galaxies to the brewing of your coffee, is just the universe exploring more probable, more disordered states. Our arrow of time is a cosmic accident of initial conditions. If the universe had started in a state of maximum disorder, of maximum probability, there would be no arrow. Things would just fluctuate. Moments of order would pop up here and there, but there would be no consistent flow from past to future. So the flow you feel, the relentless march that gives meaning to your memories and your hopes, is not a property of time itself. It is a property of the particular arrangement of stuff in our particular corner of the universe. It is contingent, it is local, and this leads us to the most unsettling everyday illusion of all. The present moment is a moving point. We feel it, don't we? We feel the now as a nice edge, constantly sliding from the past into the future. The future is open, unknown, not yet real. The past is fixed, immutable, gone. The present is this fleeting instant of consciousness. This feels so true it's beyond question. It is the structure of our lived experience. But physics, when you really press it, has no place for this moving now. In the equations, all of time past, present, future just is. Think of a movie on a DVD. The entire story is there, encoded on the disc. Your experience of watching it is to have the laser move through it, illuminating one frame at a time, creating the illusion of flow, of a present moment that moves. But the frames ahead and behind are just as real, just as fixed. Some of the greatest minds in physics, including Einstein himself, have suggested that the universe might be more like that DVD. What we call the past, present, and future are all equally real, all existing in a vast four-dimensional structure called spacetime. We are like the laser, conscious beings moving along our world lines, experiencing this illusion of a flowing now, because we can only access one mental frame at a time. We remember the frames we've passed. We can't see the frames ahead. This is called the block universe view. And if it's correct, it means that your birth and your death are both out there, both equally real, just at different coordinates in space-time. The future is not open. It is already written, not by fate but by geometry. Your feeling of free will, of making choices in an open future, is an illusion generated by your limited perspective. Now, if your brain is recoiling from that idea, if it feels cold, inhuman, and deeply wrong, I am right there with you. It feels that way to me too. It challenges the very core of what it means to be a conscious agent. But our job isn't to accept what feels comfortable. Our job is to follow the clues, no matter where they lead. And the clues from relativity, the relativity of simultaneity, the flexibility of time point strongly in this direction. We have dismantled the universal now. We have seen that the arrow of time is statistical, not fundamental, and we are now staring at the possibility that the flow itself is an illusion of consciousness. But before we descend into pure philosophy, before we give up on time as anything but a sad illusion, we have to go deeper. We have to ask the real question. If time isn't what we think it is, then what in the world is it? To answer that, we have to stop thinking of time as a separate thing and start seeing what it's married to. We have to enter the realm where time and space cease to be independent actors and become a single, inseparable entity. We have to understand space-time. And to do that, we need to let go of our last, most cherished illusion that we are outside observers of the universe, watching events happen on the stage of space and time. We are not outside. We are part of the painting. So let's try to see the painting, not just our little corner of it. We need a new metaphor, one that doesn't start with separation. Forget the river of time. Forget the stage of space. Instead, think of the universe as a vast, dark, silent block of marble, a pure, featureless substance. Now imagine that within this block, every event that ever happens or will happen, every kiss, every supernova, every falling leaf is already sculpted. Not as moving things, but as fixed shapes, as static forms within the stone. Your entire life, from your first breath to your last, is in there, not as a movie playing, but as an intricate twisting filament, a wormhole of experience frozen in the marble. This block is space-time. And the revolutionary idea, the one that Einstein handed to us, is that time and space are not the container, they are the marble. They are the substance. We call the directions we move in left, right, forward, backward, up, down, the three dimensions of space. We call the direction we seem to move inexorably along from birth to death the dimension of time. But in this block, they're all just directions, coordinates. The marble doesn't care which one you call time. The flow we feel is us, conscious beings, like ants crawling along the surface of a giant curving sculpture, mistaking the path ahead of us for the future and the path behind for the past. But the sculpture itself is just there, all of it, This is the block universe, and it sounds like philosophy, but it falls directly out of the mathematics of relativity. Let's see how. Remember our two friends, one with the light clock on Earth, one zooming by in the spaceship. They disagree on what events are simultaneous. Your now is not their now. As you move through space, your slice of now, through the space-time block tips, it rotates. It's like two people cutting through a loaf of bread at different angles. You get a different set of slices. One person's present slice includes events the other person would call the past or the future. This isn't a disagreement about opinion. It's a disagreement about geometry. And in geometry, when you can't agree on what is level, the very concept of a universal level loses its meaning. There is no privileged now slice. All possible now slices for all possible observers are equally valid. And if every moment in time is now for some observer, then how can we say any moment is objectively past or future? They all just are. They are all part of the loaf. The block. This is the first true reveal, the fusion of space and time into a single four-dimensional continuum. Time didn't disappear. It lost its independence. It became a coordinate like latitude or longitude, but with a weird minus sign twist in the math that gives it its unique character, the character that we experience as flow and memory. But here's the part that transforms this from a cool geometric fact into a profound truth about reality. The marble isn't featureless, and it isn't flat. This is the second true reveal. Mass and energy planets, stars, you, me, they don't just sit in space-time, they warp it. They dent it. They create curves and valleys in the four-dimensional marble. Gravity is not a mysterious force reaching out across space. It is the shape of the marble itself. A planet orbiting a star is not being pulled by a force. It is simply following the straightest possible path through the curved geometry around the star. It's like a marble rolling around in a bowl. The bowl is curved, so the marble's straight line is a circle. And this warping affects time most of all. Remember, time is part of the marble. So when you make a dent in space-time with a mass like the Earth, you're warping the time dimension too. The valley created by Earth's mass means that paths through time are longer, deeper, at the bottom of the valley than they are up on the rim. A longer path through time means time itself passes slower. That's why a clock ticks slower at your feet than at your head. You're living in a dent in time. Every single thing with mass is a little pothole in the temporal road, slowing down the clocks in its vicinity. This is the real meaning of gravitational time dilation. It's not a side effect. It is the very heart of what gravity is. So we have a block universe, a static sculpture of events, and we have mass and energy that curve and twist the sculpture. This picture is powerful, elegant, and deeply unsettling. It seems to leave no room for the things that matter most to us: change, freedom, the open future. It feels deterministic, frozen, and this is where most explanations stop, or they veer off into vague metaphysics. But the story isn't over, because we've only been talking about the large, the smooth, the predictable. We've been in the realm of Einstein's beautiful geometric gravity. We have not yet entered the other pillar of modern physics, the realm of the impossibly small, where certainty shatters into probability. We have not yet brought quantum mechanics into the room, and when we do, everything about our frozen block starts to shimmer. Quantum mechanics tells us that at the most fundamental level, particles do not have definite properties until they are measured. An electron doesn't have a definite position. It has a probability cloud. It is, in a very real sense, smeared out. And this smearing applies to time as well. There is a fundamental uncertainty between energy and time, just as there is between position and momentum. This means that at the scale where space-time itself might be made of something, if we had a theory of quantum gravity, the very concepts of before and after might break down. The neat, ordered sculpture of the block universe might dissolve into a foamy, probabilistic froth. The marble might be an approximation, an emergent property of something far more chaotic and dynamic. Now, I don't want to jump ahead. We're not ready for quantum gravity. Nobody is. It's the unsolved mystery at the heart of physics. But I mention it here for a crucial reason, to create attention. We have two towering, brilliantly successful descriptions of reality. General relativity, which gives us the beautiful deterministic block universe, and quantum mechanics, which gives us a fuzzy, probabilistic, participatory universe where nothing is definite until observed. They cannot both be the final complete story in their current forms. They contradict each other at the extremes. And right at the intersection of that contradiction at the Big Bang, at the center of black holes, and perhaps in the nature of time itself, is where the next revolution in physics is waiting. So where does that leave us? With a choice of perspectives, each supported by overwhelming evidence in its own domain. The block universe view is compelling from the geometry of relativity. It says the future is fixed. The quantum view hints at a more open, indeterminate reality. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, the future is not written, that the universe is a story being written as it goes, and we are not just readers but participants. Which is true? I don't know. But I know this. Our everyday feeling of a flowing present, of an open future, is not directly explained by either. It is a biological, psychological phenomenon built on top of these physical layers. And that is our next mystery to unpack. We've seen what physics says time isn't. We've glimpsed the strange fused geometry of space-time. We felt the tension with the quantum world. But we still haven't answered the most personal question. Why does it feel this way? Why are we cursed or blessed with this relentless, forward-thrusting consciousness that feels like a moving point of light in a dark block? To answer that, we have to stop looking at clocks and stars and start looking in the mirror. We have to understand the physics of the thing doing the feeling. We have to understand what a brain is in a universe of space-time and entropy. This is the heart of it, the bridge between the silent geometric universe and the roaring stream of our consciousness. And to build that bridge, we need a simple, powerful idea. A brain, a memory, a thought. These are not magical things exempt from physics. They are physical processes. And all physical processes are, at their core, arrangements of particles and energy. They are subject to the laws of thermodynamics, to the increase of entropy. Think of your brain right now. It is a vast, intricate network of neurons firing. Each synaptic connection is a tiny electrical and chemical event. And these events are irreversible. A neuron fires. Neurotransmitters are released. They are taken back up or broken down. This process creates a record. It leaves a trace. That trace is a memory. But the creation of that trace, that ordered pattern of neural connections that represents what I had for breakfast, required energy and generated heat. It increased the total entropy of the universe ever so slightly. The same is true for any process that creates a record. A photograph being taken, a tree ring forming, a footprint in the sand. Record making is an entropy increasing process. It leaves the universe more disordered than it was before. Now, here is the profound link. The psychological arrow of time, our feeling of past and future, is wired directly into this thermodynamic arrow. We remember the past because the past is the direction in which entropy was lower. Our brains are entropy-increasing machines, and they can only operate in one direction, from a state of lower entropy. A question to a state of higher entropy. An answer, a memory, a decision. Our consciousness is not a ghost in the machine. It is the machine running, and it can only run downhill from order to disorder. This is why you remember yesterday and not tomorrow. Because the universe-wide state of lower entropy is in what we call the past. Your brain's ability to store a memory of an event is only possible if that event is in the past of your current higher entropy state. So, the flow we feel is not time itself flowing. It is us, as thermodynamic systems processing information along the universe's gradient of increasing disorder. We are like a rock tumbling down a hill, and the bumps and jolts along the way are our moments of experience. The hill is the entropy gradient set by the Big Bang. We are sliding down it, and this explains so much. It explains why we can't remember the future. It's not because the future isn't real in the block universe sense. It's because to form a memory of a future event, you need to move from a state of higher entropy to a state of lower entropy to a state of lower entropy, to unscramble the egg in your own neural circuitry. The laws of probability forbid it. This is a stunning realization, our most intimate experience. The feeling of time's passage is a direct consequence of statistics on a cosmic scale. It is the universe's initial low entropy echoing through billions of years, filtering down through galaxies and stars and planets, finally manifesting as the firing of neurons that say, I am here now. But this raises a new, almost terrifying question. If our conscious now is just the brain processing information along an entropy slope, then what about the block universe? How do these two pictures fit together? Is the block universe with all moments equally real just a static landscape that we falsely perceive as moving because we're crawling through it? Or is the block universe itself an incomplete picture, and the quantum world, with its inherent indeterminacy, makes the future genuinely open, making our feeling of flow more than just an illusion? This is the frontier. Some physicists, like Carlo Rovelli, propose that time is not fundamental at all, that it emerges from the way quantum systems interact with each other. In this view, there is no universal time, not even a personal time, until two things interact and compare notes. Time is born from relation. Your watch doesn't measure time, it measures its state relative to other things. This relational view is a radical step beyond even the block universe. It says the frozen sculpture itself is an approximation. What's fundamental are events and their relationships. The feeling of flow is the feeling of countless trillions of these quantum events happening in your brain, each one updating your reality. This is where we stand, with our best physics pointing in directions that are almost impossible to visualize. The block universe from Relativity is elegant and compelling. The entropic arrow from thermodynamics explains our experience. The relational, emergent time from quantum gravity is a tantalizing possibility for the future. They are not necessarily contradictory. They could be different levels of description of the same reality. The block universe could be the God's eye view, the complete catalog of all events and relationships. Our conscious flow is the worm's eye view, the local thermodynamic experience of a complex system moving through that catalog. The miracle isn't that one is true and the other false. The miracle is that a universe structured in such a way allows for complex entropy processing systems like us to arise, who can look up from our slide down the entropy hill and ask, what is this hill made of? So what does this hill made of? So what does this mean for you right now, sitting in this room? It means the solidity of your experience is built on a foundation of relativity and statistics. It means the moment you are living in is not a cosmic present, but a personal thermodynamic event. A localized knot of consciousness processing the universe's irreversible drift toward disorder. This changes everything, not in a way that makes life meaningless, but in a way that makes it astonishingly precious. Let's reframe. Matter. You think you are a solid object moving through time. You are not. You are a world line, a complex, vibrating pattern in the space-time marble. Your solid body is mostly empty space, a cloud of probability held together by fields. Your persistence from moment to moment is not you occupying a series of nows, but the continuous unfolding of your world line along the time coordinate. You are not in time, you are time, in one of its fantastically intricate self-aware forms. Causality, the chain of cause and effect, is not the engine of time. It is a story we tell about correlations along the entropy gradient. In the block universe, causation is just geometry, a certain arrangement of events where one is in the past light cone of another. There is no mystical force of causation. There is only connection. Your choices feel free, because your brain is a chaotic, complex system processing information. Whether those choices are predetermined in the block or open in the quantum sense, the experience of weighing, deciding, and acting is real. It is what your world line does. It is who you are. The feeling is the fact. Ourselves. You are not a soul watching a movie of your life. You are the movie. You are the entire reel, from beginning to end, and you are also the light projecting one frame at a time onto the screen of your awareness. This is not a reduction. It is an expansion. It means you are not separate from the universe. You are a shape the universe has taken to know itself. Your memories are not faded recordings of a lost past. They are physical structures in your present brain, scars left by your world line's journey through the entropy landscape. Your anticipation of the future is your brain, running a simulation based on those scars. This now is the only point of contact between the vast, silent geometry of space-time and the roaring, colorful, emotional reality of lived experience. And that makes this moment, this feeling, this consciousness, not an illusion to be explained away, but the most profound physical phenomenon in the known cosmos. It is the universe experiencing a localized, temporary now. You are how the universe feels a passage it does not objectively have. And so we end where we began, not with an answer, but with a better question. We set out to see why everything we know about time is wrong. We found that time is not a river, but a dimension, not a universal flow, but a personal thermodynamic experience, not a master clock, but a relation born from quantum events. The wrongness was in our intuition of separateness, the idea that we are here and time is out there, passing by. We are not in time, we are time. And that is Feynman's uncomfortable, beautiful truth. It takes the concept from a tyrant counting down our days and returns it to us as the very fabric of our being. The future is not a blank page waiting to be written. It is a landscape already there, and we are the explorers carving a path of consciousness through it, feeling every step as a new, irrevocable now. Or, perhaps at the quantum edge, we are the writers participating in its creation. We may never know the final answer, but the act of asking reshapes us. So here is my question for you, the one I want you to sit with. What's one everyday thing you now suspect you don't actually understand? The solidity of your desk? The distance to the moon? The color red? Put it in the comments. Let's keep this conversation, this shared curiosity going. And if this journey changed how you see reality, even a little, share it with someone who loves asking why. Share it with the person who looks at a sunset and wonders not just at its beauty, but at the fact that the light hitting their eyes left the sun 8 minutes ago, and that they are, in that moment, literally touching the past. We are brief, local arrangements of order in a universe tending toward disorder, but in that briefness we get to know the structure of the whole thing. We get to trace our fingers along the grain of space-time and feel, for a moment, what it is. That is not a small thing. That is everything.